Brighter Books is, where are your books printed?
Our books are printed through a printing company that has 3 plants, one in the US, one in the UK, and the newest one is in Australia. And what they do is they want to reduce the amount of emissions for transporting the books, so they want to have, the reason for more plants is so that they can have the books shipped closer. So
Right.
yeah, it's a really environmentally friendly, conscious company. That's why we really like them. And they print one book at a time as the book is ordered, so there is no waste. There's another thing about the publishing companies that many people don't think about all the time when they buy a book is how wasteful it really is. Like the books that get ordered by a bookstore, they will order, we want 200 of these books, and maybe they sell 50, and then they discount the books and they sell 30 more, and then there's all these books left over, and what do they do with the books, right? Most of the books don't get returned. They return the cover of the book to prove that the book has been destroyed, and then they pulp the book. So, of course, I told people about this. I was questioning, and people told me, well, no, they return the books. No, that's not really true. That doesn't really happen because returning the books is really expensive, and the publishing houses like to save money in that sense. So they just say, okay, return me the covers or some sort of proof, and then dispose of the insides of the book. So, okay, so either the book gets put on a landfill or it gets pulped to do more books or to do other products. But if you can think of all the energy that gets wasted when they originally printed the books and then when they pulped the books, all the energy and the moving the books about and all that is just such a waste. It's a wasteful industry, and we just wanted to do something that was a little different than that. So I really like this company, and they also have a chain of custody certification from 3 independent forest organizations.
Oh, okay.
And so they can tell where the wood came from. So it's not from old growth forests or endangered forests or anything like that. According to the gentleman, I don't remember exactly where I read this, but more trees get planted than taken out, and that's something that they want. Excuse me. They want to ensure that whatever place they get these trees from, plant 3 per 1 or something like that. I can't really sign down on this, but I remember reading this and thinking that was really cool.
That's great. So that sort of is connected to something else I wanted to bring up about Brighter Books, is that for every book sold, one tree is planted. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's really neat. Let's talk about that a bit.
Well, actually that's funny because somebody else asked me, and then they thought, for every title. No. For every single unit, the book you're holding on your hand is a tree. So that's one thing that I want people to know. If you buy a book from us, that book is a tree somewhere in Guatemala or Africa. And
does this include books sold online as well?
No, not
hard copy books.
Hard copy, hardcover or softcover, any kind of paper book is a tree somewhere.
Great.
We've had quite a few. We're working with a company called Ecolibris, and what they do is they buy land, not Ecolibris themselves, but they have partners that buy land in places that are endangered, in Central, South America, Africa, places where the forests are getting destroyed, and they will plant the trees in that place for us.
That's wonderful. So through your partnership with them, you're able to, for every book sold, 1 tree is planted.
That's right. It's actually 1.3 trees that get planted. But, because they say that some of the trees actually die. They don't make it. So they want to be a little bit more than 1 so that, eventually it's the right amount.
No, that's great.
Anyway.
1.3 trees planted. That's wonderful. That's a really good initiative. And I know that a lot of larger publishing houses, don't do this kind of thing, obviously, right? So
No, actually, we're the only ones that plant for every single book.
Wow,
we're the only ones.
Yeah. Right here in Nanaimo, our very own super eco-friendly publishing house.
Woo!
This is great. Yes, so good. So actually, there's more things that Brighter Books is doing to help divert waste from the landfill and to reduce their own waste. Something else that I picked up on the website is that the website itself is operated with wind-powered servers.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was a bonus that we had our own service. The website wasn't another server when we were doing it originally. But then when I went and met with this website team, Webacom, they explained that their servers are actually wind-powered. They're very environmentally friendly as well. So when we heard that, we're like, oh, that's it, we're jumping. So we just moved our website over. because I mean, that's really, it's just another extra bonus that we can be proud of and happy about, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, just sort of extend that to all the different things that you do and make the website more environmentally friendly. That's wonderful. Yeah, and that's something that's very unique too. I don't see that a lot, as far as I know. I mean, there isn't a lot of that, so that's a really good one. And also, you only print books for the demand that you have. Is that right? So you're not printing a lot of extra books. You're avoiding waste that way, right?
Yeah. When the book gets ordered online, then that one book gets printed and sent to your home. So there is not, 20 books printed and then you don't know what happens to them, or as the reality is 20,000 books printed and you don't know what happens to them,
That's right. No warehousing and storage and that kind of thing.
No.
So is it more expensive for you to do that than, as opposed to, like, would it be easier for you guys to print mass quantities of books?
Well, yeah, actually there's a Chinese factory that once in a while sends me an email saying, we can do a really good price, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I know. I don't know how they heard from us, but they keep on emailing me. The reality is our books are more expensive to print. It's quite a bit more expensive to print than regularly. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, 10 times. I don't know how much, but it's quite a bit more expensive to print our books. But it's okay.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's
and obviously
worth
you as a company have decided that it's worth it, and it is really.
It's a core value, right? So
that's right.
It's exactly. It's our core value. I think that we have to think of the future. How is this going to? We're not going to. I don't want to be the last one to jump off. I want to be the first one jumping on that wagon. You know what I mean?
No, definitely setting an example for other publishing houses.
And exactly. And then once more publishing houses get on board with
this, it will be cheaper.
It will bring the prices down. And so if we're the first to get onto it, well, so be it. Because that's our values.
That's right. That's so good and so important in this day and age. And a lot of times too, when things are cheaper, like to produce a mass quantity of books that might be cheaper, but you're not really taking into account the actual maybe environmental or social cost of producing mass quantities of books that you're not going to use, right? So really the true cost isn't reflected there.
No.
So that's something that's important to watch out for, not just books. That's sort of true of everything, I think.
And we don't want to promote slave labor either in third world countries. So
exactly.
That's true. Why are they so cheap? It's just
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, there's always a reason. So that's wonderful as well. And is this correct as well that you are looking to shift into recycled materials for your book production?
The company that we're working with, they already use some recycled material. They've been trying to shift as much as possible to recycle paper. Some of the processes they use to print the books, however, still require regular paper, and we've been constantly checking, how is it now?
Yeah.
And it's getting better. Some of the inside, like the paper itself, I think some of the paper is already recycled on all the plants, but it's something that is ongoing.
Yeah, it's
hopefully
constantly shifting process.
Yeah, but it's one more benefit of this printer that I really
That's right.
like, so.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, at this point, I do want to remind our listeners, please call in with a pledge for CHLY, your local independent radio station, to support our operations and the facility and new equipment here. We're always looking for pledges. And if you are the first person to call in, we will give you for free 2 of Brighter Books books, the first and second book published, The Guardian and The Catalyst, for free. And The Guardian is also signed by the author, so that's an extra little perk. So please do call in 1-855-740-1017, and Suzanne is at the ready to take your pledge and your information.
Yes, I can do, and of course that can also be 250-740-1017.
Oh, sorry, that's right.
Yeah, so it just depends on whether you need to call long distance or not. And I just wanted to make a comment that I see the books here in the studio, and they're very attractive. They're
very
beautiful. Nicely produced.
Thank you.
The artwork is
it's beautiful.
Great. Yeah, and very nice covers. So it's an attractive book to have in your home.
Actually, that's one thing that we wanted to do, is even our young adult books, they have one illustration per chapter, which is something, it's a lost thing. They used to be common on books in the olden days, they used to be fully illustrated, and people now say, oh, young adults don't really like illustrations. This is for children. But that's not true. It's just because it's cheaper, so they cheap out. And I think that's unfortunate, It's unfortunate, So we want to bring beauty, and like the book has to be, what I want is the graphics of the book to match the writing of the book. So, the book is a standalone work of art. That's what we're trying to do visually and intellectually appealing work.
I think even if we aren't consciously aware of it, we respond differently to things that are aesthetically pleasing. Don't we?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we all like illustrations too.
I know, right? Adults, children, everybody likes
it. And contrary to popular belief, we do judge the book by the cover.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Good point. And that's something that's lost in books that are for an older demographic. You don't see illustrations and that kind of thing. So that's something unique as well.
There's one book that we're publishing in May, and I'm working on it right now. And it's a pirate book, and it inside it looks like a pirate book log.
Oh,
it's all with old. The paper is made to look old, and that's all. It's going to be
interesting. That's great.
So,
Okay, so you also have several contests going on right now that people can participate in. So we have the Equilibris contest. Let's talk a little bit about that one first.
Well, we want to make people aware that we do this one tree per book sold project, and we're trying to get some sort of video out. So we figured that would be kind of fun to do a contest. There's a lot of high school kids that have computer classes and do that kind of graphic, and also some people in college could be interested in doing that. So the contest is to make a movie for us that incorporates books and the Brighter Books Publishing House, and the idea that each tree comes from a book, or that each book becomes a tree, that kind of thing. And then we would give prizes for it, for the first place and second place and third place.
That's great. So it's sort of to promote the Equilibris partnership and planting one tree for every book.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, is there any age requirement for this contest, or can anyone apply?
For this one, anyone can apply.
This is for anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And what are the prizes?
Okay, the prizes are first place gets $500 and a certificate for gold winner of the Equilibris contest, and a T-shirt and exposure and recognition through our website, and a big thank you note from me.
That's great.
And the second place gets $250. And also certificate, T-shirt, and a big thank you, and tons of exposure as well. And the third place gets a T-shirt, the certificate, and also thank you, exposure. And we will put these movies on our website, and also the winning movie, we're going to make it available on YouTube so that people can easily see it from everywhere.
Great. Okay, another contest, the Young Citizen of the World Award. This is something else that Brighter Books is doing. Let's talk a little bit about this one.
Okay, so this one, we want to make people, young people, more interested in social causes. So I was thinking, well, how can we do that? So there is a lot of children already out there that are upset with some of the things that are going on in the world, and this contest is to get kids just put their thoughts on paper. Write a story, send it to us, and we'll pick the winning stories and we'll compile it into a book. And this book, all the proceeds from the book, whatever we make from the book, goes straight to an organization. So the children that send us a story should send a story with where would they like the proceeds to be sent to, and then we'll figure out either the place that gets the most votes, or we'll separate it, something like that, to get these proceeds from the sale of the book.
That's great.
So gets kids involved, gets them feeling good about themselves, that they're doing something to help something that they believe in, be it, Greenpeace, whatever it is. So
and that would also, generate awareness to adults. The fact that the kids are aware of what's going on, and are already developing, a passion for a certain cause or that kind of thing. So that's wonderful as well.
One of the things, our belief is that how do you change the world? The best way to do it is through our children. because they're going to be our future. And so if you can instill a sense of morality, a sense of consciousness to improving their well-being